Hey guys, Slygor here, back again with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Cosmic Legion's Wave 2 Gravenight Slygor. Brought to us by the fine folks over at Horsemen Studios. And unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. A lone tear because of this, because we are wrapping up our looks at the Cosmic Legion's Wave 2 Gravenight figures with good old Slygor here. This is the final figure from the wave. Unfortunately, it was a very small wave. It was a very cheap wave, too. I think it was $200 for the all-in, which is what Mr. Brian, a.k.a. the old man, a.k.a. my dad, purchased, unbeknownst to me. Bugger. But he was nice enough to loan me this figure for review, so if I don't monkey with it as much as I do, we'll say figures I buy, it's because hashtag not my figure and hashtag not my problem, as long as I don't mess it up. So we're going to try our darndest to review this guy, because he comes with a boatload of stuff. If you're familiar with the Deluxe Barbarian Builder Kit from Mythic Legions, or the Knight ones, you know exactly what you're getting into with this guy, because he comes with a boatload of pieces. Probably more pieces than any deluxe figure I've reviewed on this channel. I do have the Orc from War of the Aether Blade, and I'm on the fence on whether or not I'm going to review that figure, just because it's not going to be one of the figures of the year or anything. I can tell you that right now, but I don't know. These deluxe offerings from the Four Horsemen, they're great. They're great starter figures for anyone wanting to dip their toes into what they have to offer, but they are a pain in the ass to review, because they come with a bunch of stuff. So, with that being said, we're cutting right to the chase and getting into the meat and taters of this review, starting off with the alternate hands. He comes with 3 sets of extra hands. He's got 2 fists. He's got 2 trigger finger hands with, the correct hinge for holding weapons. Fortunately, the grip hands he has on him, not so much. If I'd known that, I would have done a hand swap earlier, but oh well. On top of that, though, he does have open hands with the same hinge as the other hands, the fists and the ones on him. And on top of that, he does come with not 1, but 2 alternate heads. These are helmeted heads. And one cool thing you can do with this helmet, at least, I haven't figured out how to do it on this one, but what you can do, set that off to the side, you can get your nail under here. You can pop this piece off, and you can take one of the extra shield pieces you get. These are actually in a baggie, separate from this figure, much like the Canox Vol tuber that I mentioned in my Canox Vol review. Side note, he's not actually a bad guy. I thought he was. But you can snap these right on to this head. I imagine you could do this with the other head too, but these are not big enough to fit over the kind of cheekbone pieces on that other helmet. So there is that. I like that quite a bit. Big old face shield looks pretty cool. You do get 2 more of those face shields, by the way. So there you go. They got the same connector pieces on the bottom. These might even be the same frickin' piece. I don't know, but they were in the bag, so I figured I'd show them. You do get ones without these little adapter pieces here, but I don't know what to do with those. They don't plug into the other head. I tried it, and they only seem to fit on the one head. Or they don't even fit on this head. So I'm guessing that was a screw up on the factory's behalf. I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. But on top of that, you do get a bubble helmet, and the bubble comes out. But I'm not gonna, oh, there you go. The bubble comes out, you snap it in there, and then you can actually kind of clip it onto this armor. It sits kind of loose for my liking, but you can get it to sit on this armor, kind of like that. And now he's got a bubble helmet, which is pretty cool. I like that. Kind of big, but, you know, it helps not to suffocate in the dark vacuum of space, doesn't it? So, makes sense that it's big. That said, we also get a rifle. We saw this with Novian, who this guy does share some parts with. So you do get that. And you get the clear pegs that go into the side of it here. So you can clip it onto his... maybe the pauldron ports can receive that. We also get the shield. This riot shield. And what you can do with this, you can pop this front off here. Just give it a little wiggle there. And then you can take this big clear piece and peg that into the front, like so. And now he's got a laser shield, which looks pretty cool. This is the same shield as Hvalkatar, I think. I actually looked his name up, so after reviewing the whole wave, I finally got the guy's name right. That said, we also get this staff piece. We saw this with Canucks Val. You do get 2 different ends for it. I can get to them here. There is one that is unignited and one that is. Now be careful with these little lightning bolts on the end. They are a little fragile, at least before you heat them. Maybe if you heat them, they'll be not quite as fragile, but you know, it's better not to risk these things. You can snap this in on the end here. Give him a shock staff or a riot baton, whatever you want to call it. Setting that off to the side. You do get another shield adapter piece, and there are 2 more of these in that little bag. If you buy an all-in set, all your extra pieces are going to be in one bag. But you do get one of these. I'm not quite sure why. I'm still trying to figure that out. But you do get an extra one of these, I guess, if the other one breaks. So that's kind of nice. My Hvalkatar didn't come in 2 of those, so unless I got Jip, but you know, whatever. You do get one of the little hologram effect pieces. They do plug into the wrists here, but I'm not going to push it in further than that. So you can do that if you want. I would recommend heating up the wrist before you do that, just so you don't snap the peg, because those are a little fragile, again, if you don't heat them. And on top of that, you also get tubers, a couple of tubers, and a back adapter for them to plug into. Should be worth noting this back adapter can also receive the shield here. So you can slot that in right there, and there you go. You got the shield plugged in, and the laser part fell right off. It's not loose, I probably just didn't have it plugged in all the way. It was fine earlier. Maybe it goes in the other way. No, it goes in this way. Heck. What's going on here? I guess that piece is just kind of loose. Weird. I don't remember it doing that, but alright, fine. But taking this out, you also get a couple of pauldrons, which I tend to prefer the pauldron look for most 4 Horsemen figures, or Legions figures, I guess, at this point. So we have both Mythic and Cosmic. And then you also get, make sure I'm not missing nothing, you also get this alternate chest armor, which just kind of sits on the front. It does have a collar here. I think this works better with these helmets, mostly because you got the open collar there, and you can put the face shield on, and he looks really bulky and tough like that. And that's kind of the look I prefer. So taking this helmet off, that's all you get with this guy. And if that's not enough, you are a selfish bastard, because that is a lot. And I hope I didn't take too long to cover it all. But bringing Slygor in closer here, Not really the most alien-looking head sculpt out of this line, if I do say so myself. It looks more like a zombie or a ghoul to me. So, very weird, but, you know, it is what it is. Standard Legion's articulation. He's got the ball in the head, tilt side to side. He can look side to side. Neck's kind of tight. I will say this adapter piece here in the chest, this was separate, but you can plug that right in, and I would just advise leaving it in. You don't need to take it out to use the other chest plate. His shoulders go out to the side, at least that far with the backpack on. We take this off here. This is the only backpack that works with the bubble helmet, by the way. But if we take this off, because we are going to gear him up a little bit. I'm going to do a little popping and swapping live on air. Hopefully it doesn't take as long as my Canox of All review. He does have hinge in the shoulder again. And without that, you can go pretty far. A little bit further than before. I would probably advise heating the shoulders just because they are tight. There you go. That one's going a little further. There, you get about a right angle to the body, which is cool. You do get swivel forward and back. Get the single hinge in the elbow with rotation. He's got a swivel in the gauntlet. Swivel in the wrist with the wrong hinge for holding weapons. I wish I knew those trigger hands had the right hinge. I would have swapped those out for the URL photo. I will say this elbow on this one is a little loose side to side, but I could always heat that, pop it out, and tighten it with a little heating and cooling, I think. So if this figure does wind up being mine at some point, which it very well could be, I will probably fix that. It also feels like his gauntlet isn't plugged in all the way. That's bizarre. I don't know. I think it's just I'm tripping. Am I tripping? I could just be tripping, but... Oh yeah, it's in there all the way. Never mind. But this elbow is relatively loose, but I could probably fix that with a little bit of heat. He does have the ball joint in the waist, so you can tilt forward and back, a little side to side, and rotation there. His hips can kick forward, back a little bit. He's got the little butt plate, which on this guy is a little stuck. Oh, there we go. But you can rotate the legs forward and back, kick them out, down. Nothing too loose on this guy, other than this elbow is pretty loose, but I could probably fix that if I need be. He does have a thigh cut, a single jointed knee. This knee, yeah, he's got tight enough knees. He's got a swivel in the boot there, or below the knee, I should say, and then he's got a calf cut. Does he have a... No, he doesn't have a boot swivel like Novillain. He does have a hinge with a rocker though, and peg holes at the bottom of the feet, and some nice kind of thrusters there. So as far as popping and swapping goes, this isn't something I typically do on this channel, but because it is a deluxe figure, I feel obligated to give it a shot. And before I do that, actually, where's that little adapter piece? Because that thing, this little bugger right here, is kind of a pain in the bupkis to get on. So plug that in first, then the pauldrons, which thankfully, unlike Mira, or whatever the hell her name is, I didn't have to heat this guy to plug these in. They just kind of went in fine. I will say the left one is a little wiggly, but it's not loose. It's not floppy. It's nice and tight, but it does get like a little bit of wiggle out of that. But maybe the peg is a little uneven on the end there, or the pauldron is just warped, which it does feel kind of warped, not gonna lie. But once I pop this collar on, that's all gonna change. So plopping this on, this just kind of sits over everything like so. There you go. I'm not gonna plug the tubes in. They go in up here on the collar, and then on this back adapter they kind of go under his armpits, or I guess you could have them go behind him or whatever, but I'm not gonna do that because those are kind of a pain in the butt. So I'll do that off cam because I'm sure this is dragged out long enough. And then we're actually going to take this face shield off before I plug this head in. There. And now that that's in, we can plug this face shield in. And these aren't the tightest things ever, these face shields. Maybe there's one that's tighter, but this is the one I like because it's the kind of the shiny clear blue as opposed to the smoky clear blue. This guy's got a nice color palette too. He's got like a nice metallic blue going on, and I really dig that. One thing I don't know if you could plug the tubes into the arms. That'd be kind of cool to give him like a Bane look, because he does have the ports on the back here. He does come with those clear pegs, like I said, so you could put some stuff back there, but for the most part, this is how I like to display this guy, even though it's not my figure, but it is for the time being. I like him like this. This is a cool look. He's got the helmet, he's got the pauldrons, he's got the cool collar, the pop collar look going on here, the face shield, and then with the tubers, it just kind of adds like bulk and heft to him, because I think these guys are supposed to be like the guards of the grave ring in the lore. They're like the security or whatever. They keep all the combatants in line. So you could have a bunch of these guys escorting Kragnar out or Canox Val out so they can fight to the death. And that's pretty cool. That said, he is 50-something, 60-something bucks. Which I'm not saying that's high. But he is an expensive army builder. But you do get a lot of stuff. You get a lot of options with this guy. I do wish those faceplates fit on the other head. I think that's kind of a missed opportunity to not include anything with that. Although I could just be stupid and missing something here. But for the time being, as far as I know, this is all you can do with this figure. I mean, what I've showed is quite a bit. I mean, you don't have to put the collar piece on this guy to use the pauldrons. You can just use the pauldrons and have just like a more bare bones version of this guy. But yeah, man, I really dig this figure. I think he's fun, and if you're new to Legions, this is a good starting point. You know, this is a really good starting point. Also, be good if he was a little bit more centered. There we go. So, with that being said, I'm gonna shut up. We're gonna move right along to some size comparisons right after I get those tubers hooked up, because again, those are a bit of a bugger. I think this review's gone on long enough. So, hold your horses. We'll move on to some size comparisons. First up, here is good old Slygor, all geared up, and alongside a couple other Cosmic Legions figures. First up, we have the Grave Ring Hvalkatar to the left, and from this most recent wave of Cosmic Legions offerings, Novilin, one of my personal favorites, to the right. And as you can see, Slygor is a bit of a mix of both of these guys. If you ask me, he's got a lot of the same parts as Novian Lean and a lot of parts from Hvalkatar there. So once again, the Horsemen seem to be masters of reuse, because even though these guys share some parts here and there, they don't really look the same at all. So getting them out of the way here. Setting them off to the side, because it wouldn't be one of my videos without bringing these guys in. We have the Mythic Legions, Brother Mandibilith, right there. There you go. And the Unco 11 Spawn, who, as usual, towers over almost everything I review. When he wants to stand, that is. That one toe joint on the, is it left side there? Can be problematic at times. Can be. And anyone who's going to argue that toe joints are a godsend is, well, a boob. So, with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. overall, and if I was to suggest someone to pick up a figure to get them into the Cosmic Legions line, I think good old Slygor here is a very, 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 did I mention very, safe bet, because like the Deluxe Barbarian Builder Kit from Mythic Legions, you get a lot of accessories with this guy. While I haven't taken the time to count each piece individually, it seems like the fine folks over at Four Horsemen Studios are including a lot more accessories with these newer releases as opposed to when they first came out with Mythic Legions all those years ago on Kickstarter. Should be worth noting that Cosmic Legions was not a kickstarted line, but one that took time for them to finally release to the masses, and I have to tell ya, I think they're doing a pretty good job. There are some issues with a couple figures here and there, particularly some looseness and tolerances in joints and pieces and things, but for the most part, I think the Horsemen are only getting better, and I hope that continues into 2024. And if the reveals at this year's past Legions Con, or the Legions Cons of the past, indicate anything, that's going to be nothing but true. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later. But wait, there's more! Yeah, I figured before I signed off, I show you guys a bit of a Mr. Freeze tribute I made from good old Slygor here, just utilizing parts that he came with. I gave him the gun, I plugged the tubers in the gauntlets like I thought you could, and they're plugged onto the back, on the back of the belt. And then I, of course, gave him the backpack that could use the bubble helmet, and the standard head he comes with, the unhelmeted head. Shy of a pair of red goggles, I'd say this is a pretty solid looking Mr. Freeze figure, if I do say so myself. So, just figured I'd tack this on to the end of the review, give you guys a look at some pop and swap options for your Slygor if you decide to get one. So, that being said, until next time, catch you guys later.